Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the YarCrypto Late Night Live Show. My name is Groovy, and with me here today I have once again Sterling. Say hi, Sterling. I think you're muted again, Sterling. It's-
It won't be a proper show if Sterling wasn't muted. Hi,
yeah.
everybody. I'm Legal Talent. Welcome to the live stream. While Sterling
Uh,
technical
Sorry.
difficulties, you're
Sorry
okay.
about that. Anyways, hi guys. I'm so happy to be here with you guys again tonight. And let's get into these charts. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
yes. So today we have a lot of downside for the market in general. But yeah, if we take a look here at Binance, a lot of red going on today
Mhm.
for the market and for altcoins as well, especially uh, after some bullish things going on for alts in the last week. Today we had a lot of red in comparison. So if we start with BTC here, we just closed the daily. So if we take a look here, this is the 4 hour chart. Um, and we had this triangle that we were following for the last couple of days. Um, Obviously, we broke out of that to the downside after getting squeezed on this area here.
Mhm.
And right now we are at support. We drew this support here on the last live show at the 32,600 level kind of range, which is the golden pocket here for this retracement, which is from this swing low here all the way up to this swing high at the top here. So for this retracement, we have the golden pocket in this area. And as you guys can see, the daily candle for today, it basically reacted a lot to this level. We spent sort of 12 hours here testing this support, and we closed above it, at least on the daily as well, and on the 4 hour. So as you guys can see here on the daily, the candle closed above it after testing it. There was some buying pressure at this level, and right now we are seeing the daily close volatility as usual. So, well, what's going to happen next? Um, Technically, if we continue looking at the technicals for this pattern that we had, which is this triangle here, our target, our technical target is the bottom here at the 28K, um, which is we take by measuring the top of the pattern all the way to the bottom here. And if we measured it from the point of the breakout, you guys can see that it's perfectly matching the 28K, which is the swing low here from a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
So we should be careful with that. But so far, we are holding this support here. So we're going to see how the price actually reacts to this in the following hours and
Yeah.
to see if we're going to get a bounce or not.
And these are some, support and resistance zones that we've been talking about for a few days now. These two golden pockets, this range that Bitcoin has been trading in. So, we did kind of expect a lot of, choppiness as soon as we get to this area. We saw a clear breakout from that triangle, as you see on Groovy's chart there. And, so what we're hoping for would be to hold this zone. But if we do continue to capitulate with this pattern and break down to the downside, then we are looking for that target. But on the upside is, I would argue that if we do make it to that target or near it, there's a good chance for a double bottom situation on the larger picture, which when it's formed over a longer period of time, there's more strength to the actual pattern if it does happen.
Yep, exactly. So a couple more levels for us to actually watch here. If we go to the daily, we can sort of, or even this one, this retracement that we have here, this for the golden pocket. Since we know that it's confluent and we had a lot of reaction to this level, we can sort of look at the other levels from this retracement. So if I just change the model here, we also have the 786 below here at the 31K. So that's going to be another trouble area for us. And we could potentially see a very nice reaction to this level here if we do break the 618 that we are at currently. So yeah, the 31K is also 31,500 is also a very interesting level for you guys to keep an eye on. And after that, I think there's really little support until the actual target for the pattern, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I would say the 30K here, 31K is our last kind of resort support level. Um, so yeah, another thing that we can, if I'll just change it back here. Another thing that we can look at is if we, I think we can discard kind of this pattern right now, this triangle, but we can keep this upper resistance, diagonal resistance here. And if we kind of draw a line here at the bottom, we can potentially see a new sort of pattern forming here, which
Mm.
is kind of this one. So this is gonna, if this is true, then this is potentially kind of falling wedge pattern. Um, but this is assuming that we bounced from this point here and we hold the 618 level, right? But even if we don't hold the 618 here, and this is a true pattern, we
Ex-
can also
I
draw it
would have
like this
argued that
actually. Yeah,
one myself. Yep.
yeah, exactly. Coming from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and on the current daily candle, we could have the sort of freedom to actually break this 618 level here and kind of wick to the 786 at the 31K here and still be on this pattern after if we come back into it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is also something to watch out for.
Yeah.
Um,
And if I could
and
actually show you my
yeah,
chart really quickly, just to add some confluence to these levels. At the moment, I have an indicator on my screen here in TradingView. Is actually just the default pivot points. And for those of you who don't know, the way the pivot points are calculated is using the highs and the intraday high, intraday low, averaged out with the previous day's closing price. And so this gives us some dynamic support and resistance levels that we can look out for a projected time frame the next day coming up. And so at the moment we did find support at the S2 pivot point level, which is currently here on my chart. So, if we do break down further, the next level that I would look for support on a dynamic level would be over here, which is just about 31,000. We're looking at 30,900 on a Coinbase chart here, which is confluent with a lot of these wicks that got absorbed in the previous price action.
Yeah.
So, this would be a level to look for support, and confluent with this area as well. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I have this kind of golden pocket zone here. If I can zoom out on my chart for you all, this is actually, if I remove the pivot points for you all, we have a speed fib retracement here. So for those of you who don't know, this is actually a tool here on TradingView, and it's called the fib speed resistance fan. And essentially what this does, it gives you a projection of what the price might be doing or where it might go over a period of time. And in this case, if we go here and put it from this swing high point, and we go down to one of the first swing highs over here at the bottom. Let me just zoom in for you all. There we go. You'll notice here that the price has been, for the most part, respecting these fib levels. And every time we get to one of these lines, there was a clear reaction to the price. And currently, where we stand right now, the way I set up the fib is I actually added the 0.66 fib level, so that way I could create the golden pocket here just to show some more confluence. So right now we do have this golden pocket in the mix, and we do have this pivot point coming down. So if we do break down further, we have this confluence zone here to potentially find some support. So that's just something to keep in mind there.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, this is basically BTC right now. If we take a look at the RSI on BTC, it's at least on the 4-hour, it's pretty low. And you see that the current 4-hour candle is already kind of reacting to the golden pocket there that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be interesting to see if we're gonna bounce here again. But yeah, and on the daily, sorry.
So where did you make those retracements from for the bottom 618 level? Or
this one?
Yeah,
the bottom here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the bottom is from this swing low here.
And
all
then
the way up.
Swing high. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. This move here, this big move. But we also can make another retracement on the daily, which I think it's kind of a bigger one. And it is from this swing high here all the way up to this one. But this one, it is also very confluent because we had a touch on the golden pocket here exactly.
Yeah.
And if we let me actually take the other levels here and see if we have any confluence right now. We were actually talking about this a few days back, because at the same time that we broke that triangle, we also broke the 38.2 fib level from this retracement on the daily.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we kind of are going to the 23.6, which could be a level of support, but this is also confluent. The 23.6 is also kind of confluent with the 786 from this other retracement here. So yeah, a lot of retracements, but we have confluence on these levels. So we can kind of draw this range here at the bottom, 31K, as a potential next level of support if we break down from
where
here.
we can expect to see a wick within that area, that range.
Exactly, yeah. So, the retracements can change, but the areas of support kind of have that confluence, and it is that confluence that you look for these levels. So if the price reaches this point here, this range, you can be pretty sure that it is going to react to that for sure, because of the confluence. So yeah, basically BTC right now. we gotta wait and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Um, but moving on now to Ethereum. Ethereum, we have some interesting things, and we have kind of a different chart on Ethereum than we have for BTC,
Mm-hmm.
because we saw that Ethereum is actually decoupling from BTC, and it's actually kind of going down a little faster. And today, while BTC was kind of quiet in this support here, we saw Ethereum actually break its support and go down even further. Uh, so this is the 4 hour for Ethereum, and we had this rising wedge here, pretty textbook rising wedge
Mm-hmm.
on the Ethereum 4 hour chart, on the daily as well, for sure. And we broke that yesterday, and now we are seeing the result of that over here. But something that I was talking about with the guys on Discord as well is that the scary part about this kind of rising wedge here is that the target is really low on the
Yeah.
chart.
The start of the wedge,
Uh,
right?
exactly. And the
Mm-hmm.
target for this would be all the way at the bottom here, at the bottom of the wedge, which is 1700. Um, so yeah, it's pretty scary right now for Ethereum. And also we have here the kind of measurements that we can take for
The
the
biases on these patterns to
yeah,
see which way they lean.
exactly. So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys are looking for any guides on patterns, the patternSite.com, it's a nice place to actually look.
Yep.
So yeah, Ethereum, our technical target is all the way down on the green range here, 1700. And so far, we had these ranges here drawn on the chart. The first one being all the way up here at the 2200,
Mhm.
300. Down here, there was this the 2100s support level, and you guys can see that we reacted to this level a lot as well over here in this cluster. So this was a confluent zone of support as well. And now we are kind of in the middle here of nowhere between this
Yeah.
kind of resistance here now and this support at the 2K level. Uh,
And if
yeah,
I
the
could make
2K.
note too, on my
Yeah,
chart, we're literally like below the EMAs, which generally is below any kind of support at the moment. We're going to be fighting resistance in terms of these dynamic levels that we have here on the 4 hour chart. So that's something else we got to watch out for too, because that we can expect, one of the golden rules for the EMAs, especially the 50, is that no matter what the price does, eventually it's going to have to retrace back to the 50. And, you'll see this in every single case where no matter what we do, we come back to the 50. The 200 is not so much has to be in the mix, because we can stay apart from it for quite some time. But that's the minimum we're looking for, a retracement to the 50. And so that's at the moment 22.14. And as time goes and the price does plummet a little more, then we are looking for this dynamic level to change and possibly go lower. But that's what I'm looking for the immediate, resistance to break in order to kind of continue to the upside with this movement that we've been doing on Ethereum.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
for
seems like
sure.
Ethereum is going down as we speak. It's
Mm-hmm.
going down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for Ethereum, unless I would say unless BTC drags it along with it to the upside, I think our next, as Legal said, our next major support would be the 2K level. There's really little support here in the middle here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, this is basically Ethereum. If we take a look at the daily as well, actually let's take a look at the RSI first. And yeah, the RSI on the 4 hour still has a little room until it's actually oversold here. So I would guess that by the time we get to the oversold state, we are already down at the 2K level, um, and at the daily as well. Um, we closed the daily below support, resistance now, and the next one is the 2K level as well for Ethereum. And if that doesn't hold, then it's I think we can be a little more towards the actual target for the pattern, right? Which is the
Yeah.
1700s. Um, yeah, I saw
And
some
again,
people.
overall, it wouldn't be that bearish if you consider the trend that we've been on and these previous lows, how we are making higher lows, even if it's just fractional amounts
Yeah, on the daily, right?
on the bigger scale. Yeah, on the bigger time
Yeah,
frame in terms of these bigger movements, swing highs and
yeah,
swing lows.
yeah. So far, yes, yeah. I saw some people joking on Twitter that Ethereum is ready for the 1559, but it's actually $1559 for coin. But well, because it looks bearish right now for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but we're gonna have to see and if BTC actually tries to do something about it.
And we have seen a
Uh,
decoupling in more recent days, especially in the last couple of weeks with Ethereum. But I think mainly a lot of it has to do with, the upcoming news and just the hodling that's happening because of that, increasing the scarcity and thus, helping the price to kind of go up.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of hype around Ethereum for sure, and that opens up the space because if Ethereum actually decouples a lot from BTC, then uh, it gets overbought pretty fast, and well, we see something like this happen as sometimes as well. So if we look at the dominance here for BTC, we are at 45 right now, which is pretty low still, um, and this has been showing on the altcoin market, right? But as soon as BTC made a move, we saw what happened to the altcoin market, right? So it's kind of tough to actually trade these alts, but if you can catch these periods where BTC is just quiet and it's not doing anything, then it's a pretty nice idea. But you never know, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there are situations where in just, let's say, potentially 4 to 12 hour period, there's some outs that might do 100% gain,
Yeah,
and in these times, so it has to do with diligence and tracking the charts because you can find these coins that outperform Bitcoin daily. Sometimes it's
that's
just
what I
not
was
the same
gonna
coin
say.
every time, but there's a lot of coins that outperform them.
Yeah, if we could
Yeah,
take a look at that V chain to BTC chart, let's see how we're doing there. Because I remember we
Mm,
got rejected from that. Uh, we got we got support off the 200 daily EMA, and then we were getting some rejection, right?
yeah. So this is the chart that I was showing yesterday, I think. Yeah, and for VeChain, VeChain actually lost some value against BTC as well on the daily here. Um, if you go to the yeah, I drew this support line here from this other points as well. Um, so if you look at the 4 hour on the 200 EMA as well, yeah, the 4 hour, yeah, it was on the daily, right? That we
Yes,
were
yes.
looking, yep, for sure, yeah. So if you guys look here, we are almost at the daily on the 200 EMA for VeChain against BTC. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna react to this 200 EMA.
Yeah, it could bounce
Um,
off it for a third time.
exactly, and I would guess that the inverse is happening on the USD chart because I think we may be moving a little far away from the actual 200 EMA as a resistance. Actually,
yeah.
let me pull up this at USD Binance. Yeah, I have all my drawings here still. Um, yeah, we reacted to the 200 EMA on the daily here, sold off, and we
Yeah.
are still selling off from this.
Clear rejection
Uh,
there with a reversal pattern on the
yeah,
doji there. It looks like a dragonfly doji pattern. Yeah.
yeah, and well, I guess this is happening to almost the whole crypto, the altcoin market. If we look at ADA as well, I think ADA as well was, yeah. So ADA was really interesting because we had also a clear level of resistance here on Cardano. Uh, this range on the $1.47, something like that, was it still is actually a really confluent zone for ADA, and we got rejected once again by it on this level here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Before
and this
we
is the daily, yeah.
before we get into any other alts, maybe we should ask. Does anybody in the chat want us to go over any altcoins before we head into the news and all that good stuff?
Yeah, guys, if you have any requests for coins, you can put that on the chat and
Yeah.
we are gonna take a look at it. But talking about continuing on the topics of BTC and stuff, there was something very interesting that was pointed out by a member of our community. It was Shiklin, right?
Yeah, Shikala.
So he sent us this tweet from this guy here uh, on Twitter, and it says here that he kind of takes a little different perspective on the Wyckoff pattern. So this Wyckoff pattern that he's showing here is on the daily time frame, and he says here that the most people do one main thing in common, which is to assume that the accumulation will happen quicker than it actually does, and ignore the size of the drawdown. So I guess most people, and ourselves included, was taking a look at the Wyckoff pattern on the 4 hour, um, and it has been all over YouTube as well. People are talking about it, but it's getting kind of strangely dangerous to follow that pattern, especially with this downside here, because supposedly we were already at the D phase of that Wyckoff pattern, right? Um, but if we take this model here, I'll open the image here for you guys. This model talks about the daily time frame, and according to this, we are still at the B phase, and we were potentially gonna bounce from this level that we are at right now and come back to the 40K, for them to after that go straight to the C phase and do the spring, the tests and stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, it begs the question. Mr. Crypto as well uh, sent a message on the chat asking if we are in the D phase. It's kind of tricky because if we were in the D phase, we would likely be seeing some upside moves for BTC. So we would see the LPS, the last point of support, and then the next things as well, right? But we are not seeing that right now. We are actually seeing some downside. So it puts in question if we are actually in the D phase.
Mhm.
Um, I kind of I tried to remake this sort of Wyckoff model on the daily here, as he put on his tweet there, and it kind of makes sense to be honest. But this it would be something like this. I drew a little fast, so it may be don't take this as a literal prediction, but it would be something like this where we bounce from the area we are at right now, uh, get rejected by the 40K once again, and then
Yeah.
bounce back to make the last kind of test of this general demand area here. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're looking at right now because if we do look at the smaller time frames, it can be easy to kind of get lost in all those candles and possibly see these potential movements up and down. But we are talking about a tool or an accumulation pattern, a theory that goes back, pretty good while. And I would argue that they're looking at the larger time frames when they're, performing these things, I guess, so to speak, the accumulation
Yes.
of whoever's
Yeah,
doing these accumulations.
So they're looking at it on the 1 day, correct?
exactly. Yeah,
Right.
this is the daily chart. Well, this is a accumulation pattern, right? Sideways movements with some spikes in volume. This is
Hmm.
textbook accumulation. So I think it would make sense if we are actually in this sort of stage in the Wyckoff, especially since it's the daily. If it is actually true, then I think it's a little more confident than the 4 hour, because the 4 hour obviously has a lot more volatility, and it's more difficult for us to actually draw a model there uh, and actually follow it uh, to the model, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have this for a while open here, and yeah, we're gonna see in the next few weeks how it's gonna play out. But this
I
is
see.
very interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
Jose wants us to look at AGIX USD. I went ahead and pulled it up on my chart here. The first
Yeah.
thing that I could notice with this asset is, that we have, in terms of the actual EMAs, it's fairly new. So I'm looking at Binance. If we go AGIXUSD, there's not too many places that it was listed. So if we go originally, you see Uniswap, there's not too much. Um, so we have to use the Binance and, either Binance or KuCoin. But right now, from what I see is that, we are trading at critical levels right now of support. We have the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA currently below the price. We are closing candles, it looks like, above still, but we are on bearish momentum at the moment. So I would be careful with this one because the RSI does show potential room to the downside, even though we are kind of like right in the middle. So this could, be a potential place where it could find the bounce, and there's plenty of gas, left to go up. But again, you got to be careful because we are trading at critical level of support and resistance here.
Yeah. There's little data to go off from, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think you were spot on there. Um, at the in the 4 hour on the 4 hour chart, we have some levels to actually look for. We can even make a sort of retracement here. But if we don't look at the fundamentals of the coin, it's hard for us to actually back this TA
Yeah.
with fundamentals. Um,
Well, just
and
to make note too, with those EMAs that I was showing, the 200 alone doesn't have that much price data to show, so we don't have previous price data to go off of at the moment.
yeah, so if we look at support lines here, we can draw from this retracement, and the first one would be 18 cents right here, which is the 50% on the fib, and the next one would be the 618 golden pocket, which is 16 cents. If BTC continues to nuke to the downside, then these are the levels to watch out for on this coin right here. Uh, but yeah, since I don't know much about the volume as well being traded here, I can tell you much. But yeah, we can take a look and actually look out for the support zones here. And for resistance, we have the 23.6 here at the 22 cents, which is also confluent with this area here. So, yep, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We have our
a
ranges
little too
here.
new to give us,
it's
to give
clear
you
as
too
day
much
though.
more information. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the price action can be pretty useful as well. So yeah, we have our little ranges drawn here. You can work between this sort of area. And yeah, if we break that, then you reassess and look for other areas of support and resistance. So yeah,
yeah, because at the moment the point 1839 is our current, support level that we have solidified based off of previous resistance, now flipped to support with this previous, movement to the upside.
yeah. All right. So if you guys have any more coins you wanna talk about, please put it in the comments. I think we can move on to some news over here, and I think the first one that we can talk about is the uh, questions about the SEC. So I think you guys from the US can talk a little more about it, but uh, the senator and former United States presidential aspirant is it Elizabeth Warren. She warned and she raised alarms about the regulatory climate for crypto in the US. So she kind of was talking to the SEC for it to actually, get a move on to for this regulatory stuff on the country, because there has been a lot of fraud being uh,
Yeah,
spotted, especially with crypto, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and one of the key takeaways too is that she's given them a hard deadline. I believe the article said the 28th of this month. They have until to give a response to a formal inquiry that she actually sent over, I believe,
Yeah. It
through a
says
letter.
here the current lack of basic investor protection laws for the highly opaque and volatile crypto market is unsustainable. Uh, and then, uh, yeah, Gensler reportedly has until July 28th to respond to Warren's query. So, yeah, this is a tight
It,
deadline, but I think
yeah.
that's a pretty, important matter, right?
Yeah, extremely important. What do you think,
Yeah,
Sterling? I think,
yeah,
this is important on many levels, and this kind of ties into some of the other news that we were going to get into. We have more news on Binance too coming up, in terms of, more blocking and bans over there in the UK. And so how much of it is stemming from the lack of actual regulation early on in the early parts of the adoption. So,
yeah,
being a New Yorker, especially in America, it's really hard to do sometimes to buy Bitcoin on certain exchanges because they don't do onboarding for our state, and it's a little bit tricky.
yeah. I think it just requires a lot of education for the people who are in these powerful positions. It requires them to educate themselves on cryptocurrency and the benefits of it. Because, to be honest, when we saw Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, the Coinbase CEO, he met with Janet Yellen and Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and you know that just shows you that he was able to come up to them and basically tell them, "Look, you guys need to act on the right uh, the right way to regulate crypto, not just try to ban it completely. Because
yeah,
if the U.S. doesn't get moving on like a CBDC, an American CBDC, or a crypto Bitcoin derivative ETF, like an American Bitcoin ETF. If America doesn't establish that soon, the biggest threat is the digital yuan from the Chinese CBDC that's
yeah.
forming.
And well, that's it brings back the 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 subject of smart regulations, right?
Yeah,
Because
Mhm.
the crypto space, especially with the concepts applied that are a part of it, and the whole thing about the decentralization, it needs some sort of regulation for to protect not only the citizens but a lot of other entities as well from these frauds that happen. And I can speak for myself here on Brazil actually as well. We have been seeing some really big stuff being uh, actually some um, some entities here. They were arrested by the federal police because there has been a big like fraud scheme going on with crypto, and the guy was actually called the BTC King over here. He had a company that kind of offered investments on crypto and stuff, and they claimed that um, the company was hacked at some point, and they lost a bunch of funds from their clients. So that turned out to be not true, and he actually ran away with a lot of money. So you know that brings out the need for, as well for regulations, right? Because
Yeah.
there has been a lot of stories of people doing that, and well, yeah, that's basically the
So
whole
yeah, so
argument.
yeah, and oh, give me 1 second. I have an alarm going off in my ear, BTC. So we must be crossing a critical level here. It looks like we are breaking down a little further.
Yeah,
If I pull up the chart here, yeah, we're getting some volume to the downside on this hourly candle here. So
yeah,
yeah, that's something to look out for right now. Be careful out there because we are getting a movement right now. It is to make note we are getting close to the end of the candle too, so there's going to be some increased volatility on the hourly here.
yeah, yeah. Since we are close to a support level, yeah, we're gonna see have to see how that if we're gonna actually break this uh 618 golden pocket right away, or if this is just a fake out to the downside.
Yeah, because we can see another
um
wick potentially.
yeah, but continuing on with the news, as legal mentioned, we have Binance and the UK striking again. um this time, Santander, the bank, blocks Binance payments for the UK customers. And they say here in this article from CoinDesk that the Spanish banking giant Banco Santander has blocked payments to crypto exchange Binance for the UK customers, following several other UK banks in blacklisting the exchange. So Binance is really in trouble there. Um, I don't know how they're gonna actually recover from this, how they're gonna react to that, but they continue to say here, and they quote the spokesperson from the Santander's bank, and he said that in recent months we have been seeing a large increase in UK customers becoming victims of cryptocurrency fraud. So that's fraud appearing once again. And then keeping our customers safe is a top priority. So we have decided to prevent payments to Binance following the FCA's warning to consumers. So yeah, this is another ban for Binance,
Yeah,
and you know,
and it does look like they're having a lot of trouble at the moment. um and we have these rival crypto exchanges. There was another article, a very brief one just there on CoinDesk, talking about the migration of rival of retailers to rival crypto exchanges from Binance. Just today, I had one of our community members asking about Bybit because they were concerned living in the UK with Binance. So they want to migrate away from there. So we have a little quote here from um, Bybit CEO Julian Sawyer. He's saying that they're seeing an increase in customers in the UK going to them with no changes in their actual marketing. So, this is an interesting metric to see real world, numbers of people moving over to other exchanges, and I'm actually hearing about it from the community that they're concerned and they don't want to stay on that exchange. So that's,
Yeah,
bad, because this type of, damage takes time to recuperate from,
yeah, and Binance, was the biggest one, especially in Europe, right? Uh, so I guess people are really scared about all of this going on. I would be scared if I were in Europe as well. So people are just moving to other exchanges
Well, here's
until.
the thing too. One of our other members here, he had some issues with Binance recently too, where essentially he couldn't transfer his funds. So, at the end of the day, you're on an exchange, and if you're at a critical time where you need to make a movement of your funds or a transaction and you're being blocked, that's not good in any situation, because you may really need those precious hours or minutes, to make that move in terms of trading. We don't have that luxury of having our money locked away while we're in a, bad trade or something like that.
For sure. Yeah. And well, this also brings another subject that is important, which is it's 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 not a good idea for you to keep all your money into the exchange, right? So you need
Hmm.
a sort of wallet outside the exchanges, because the danger from centralization, right, on the exchanges is exactly that. The people actually stopping you from withdrawing, and these things happen, and well, it just brings headache to people. So
And very little recourse as well, especially for the
yeah,
retailers. We're talking about bigger companies that supposedly lose millions, where we were talking about yesterday that, are having issues trying to get compensation. So what of the little guy? They're definitely not gonna have the same time. They're gonna have a harder time.
yeah. So be careful, guys. Always manage your money safely, uh, especially when you're dealing with some strong regulations like this.
Hmm.
Moving on, we have Circle going public. For anyone who doesn't know, Circle is or was the stablecoin firm responsible for the USDC coin, the
Yeah,
developer.
I believe
Uh,
Theo mentioned that in our Discord community earlier today.
yep. And well, they are. The article here from Cointelegraph says that Circle, a Goldman Sachs backed fintech company focused on stablecoin development, has officially announced Thursday its plans to go public. So it's going to be the second one going public on the crypto space. The first one was Binance, Coinbase, as you guys know. Um, and then, under the terms of agreement, a new Irish holding company will acquire both Concord and Circle and become a publicly traded company that is expected to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker CRCL. Um, so yeah, and the company said it would go public through a merger with bank check company Concord in a deal valued at $4.5 billion. So that's a lot for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things to note too is that, this is the second company to go public. The first one being Coinbase. If you guys remember recently, they launched their IPO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, this is very good for this, because like the stablecoin concept, it's getting quite popular, especially among countries. So this is also gonna bring some uh, awareness to crypto worldwide, right? And with companies going public like this, so yeah, this is the
And
future is looking
yeah, and
nice, I
it's
think,
also nice
for
to make
sure.
note that this is a stablecoin company, which, there is different inherent things when it comes to those type of investments. And we're dealing with stable coin. It's in the name. It's a lot more safe, as so to speak, in terms of volatility and whatnot in the market.
Mr. Crypto says on the chat, I want to come and live with you, Groovy, and your team, and say goodbye to the UK. Yeah, man. Well, at least here in Brazil, we are not seeing that much going on with the regulations. So I think we're pretty safe still. Well, in the US, because the guys are from the US, uh,
New York
I
is tough
guess,
on crypto. Don't come to New
yeah,
York.
exactly. So,
No, you'll
but
be
yeah,
all right. It's
I
fine.
think I think the UK situation is pretty tough right now, for sure. I feel for you guys, but we gotta work with what we have, and uh, but yeah, I think this was all the news that we had. Obviously, we have also the stuff from um, Glad. What, it's not Glass Node. What
Crypto quant.
I no I the unlock of funds. I just forgot the
Oh
name.
yeah, no, no, we're talking about grayscale. So that's
Grayscale.
also a note that we
Thank
have
you.
to keep in the back of our minds every day. Keep a reminding ourselves that grayscale will be unlocking 139,000 bitcoins, and
Yeah.
we do have confluence in the charts and on the on-chain analysis showing that each time these unlocks happen, there is correlation with Bitcoin dumping, and so how much of the coin that is currently going to get unlocked coming up in about 10 days or so is going to be sold off as part of profit taking or possible managing their money, because they are currently trading near the original investment, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I think this grayscale stuff is gonna have a really bad effect on the whole month of July, and we might see at least a sideways July here because of this. Because I guess this influences not only the investors, but the retail is also kind of scared
Yeah,
of what
weary.
might happen with this unlocking. And there's opinions out there that it's gonna not gonna have an effect on the price and this and that, but you never know, right? You can't predict it, and you
All we
don't
can
know
do
if.
is just watch the price action that's
Yeah,
currently happening
exactly.
and see
Yeah.
what's happening, in that day. But there's no way for us to, concrete say what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day, because there can be any bit of news that happens that can change that. That's something that we have to keep in the back of our minds.
Yeah. So yeah, we it's impossible to know. I've seen so many people talk, and there's articles about it as well. But there's no way we gotta actually be inside the mind of the people who are gonna have the option to sell or keep it, right?
Yep.
Um, so we have another comment here from Jose. Since we are talking about USDC, what are your guys' thought on Tether and the FUD around it? Um, I'm gonna have I'm gonna let you guys talk a little about it because I'm looking for some
I
article here.
know the one thing that comes to my mind is, you know, it's got to me. The information, the news, the stories, the FUD, it's definitely got to me a little bit to where I'm a little bit weary of, wanting to possibly park my money in large amounts in Tether for the fear of, having the rug pulled up from under you. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of other factors that you have to take into account. I'm not gonna lie, right now I'm on USDC. So that's my stable coin of choice at the moment. But it also has to do with
You
my
also used
exchange. Yeah.
to use DAI coin, DAI coin.
Yeah, and Diecoin simply because there are some rewards with that without having to
Yeah.
lock away, and you can get staking rewards with Diecoin.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this article from CNBC here, it highlights a lot of the issues that people have with Tether, and so I'm gonna highlight some parts here for you guys. The first thing that they mentioned here is that some investors and economists are worried Tether's issuer doesn't have enough dollar reserves to justify the dollar peg. So this is a classic thing about Tether that has been going on about for some time now. And then they continue here saying that in May, Tether broke down the reserves for its stablecoin, and the firm revealed that only a fraction of its holdings, 2.9% to be exact, were in cash, while the vast majority was in commercial paper, a form of unsecured short term debts. Um, so yeah, well, there's a lot of things going on, so you got to be careful, and well, you always have USDC, right?
Yep.
And USDC seems a little more out of this kind of FUD sentiment,
Yeah,
um,
a little
but
more regulated.
yeah, there has been some issues with transparency in the USDC space,
Hmm.
but I think it's a little more reliable right now with the FUD happening. So that's my kind of 2 cents on it. Um,
But at the end of the
uh,
day, there are many different options out there. So, there's you don't have to be stuck with the USD Tether, even though it is one of the more widely used and easier to access, in terms of transferring to exchanges.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think Tether mainly became so popular because of Binance, right? Because everybody wanted to have a stable. Like during 2017, I remember everybody would just go into Tether when right before that Bitcoin crash in 2018.
Hmm.
yeah,
So that's where a lot of people found out about it.
yeah. But
Because Coinbase doesn't have Tether. Coinbase just has USDC.
Yeah.
yeah, and well, yeah, you have the Binance USD as well, which is one.
Yeah.
Um, but well, while we navigate this sort of sentiment on stable coins, I think the safe route is to actually use another one if you're kind of worried about it,
Hmm.
because it can be dangerous because things happen in an instant,
Yeah.
especially in crypto. So yeah, just be
And that's the
careful and
beautiful thing about crypto is that you don't have it's not like centralized banking and centralized this where you may live in an area where you have access to one banking system and you're forced to use them. There's
yeah,
many choices, many stable coins, many different exchanges. So, whichever one works best for you, I would say.
for sure. Yeah, guys. So I think that was all from us today.
Yeah.
We can just wrap it up here on the BTC chart and see
Hmm.
how it's doing. Well, we are reacting to the support right now. This is
Yeah.
a pretty bearish candle. If we zoom in on the 1 hour here, even we kind of broke it on the 1 hour, the
Yeah.
golden pocket. So, well,
I would say that
I
was a
think
clear, movement through the golden pocket on that hourly since it's a full
yes,
body decision candle at that point.
yeah,
But there is a chance we
and
might get a doji reaction here, so we can look.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not looking great to be honest.
Yeah, the upper line here on this range is the 618 line,
Mhm.
and the bottom is the 65%. Um, and as you guys can see, we just broke straight through the 618 line here. Uh, if we look at the volume, we had a volume confirmation as well on the 1 hour. Um, so yeah, we might see some interesting downside movement for the next couple hours, but yeah, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and for the comments as well.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Mr.
Um,
Crypto, Jose,
Thank you
everyone who
guys.
joined. Thanks,
yeah,
thanks.
If you want to see any more content, guys, you can access yarcrypto.com. We also have our news website, yarcryptonews.com. And we also have our Discord community where we talk all about crypto related stuff. We do live TA every day as well. So if you want to hang out with us, talk about crypto, you can consider checking it out. Um, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching again. And well, bye bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Take
Bye.
care.
Take
Good
care,
night.
people.